telling the truth. I'm John Wolfert here with Mike Toto, and this is part 3 of a 4-part series. I'm trying to get a full year of
outstanding
Peace Vigil standing.
Very good.
Just let everybody know that you're here year round, and
yes,
you know, and
every Saturday morning from 10:30 to 12, we're here. Sunshine, winter, snow, everything. Haven't missed a date. We started our 8th year, going on our 8th year last Saturday. This is our second one. I think it's number 367, 66, 67. Yep.
So
you had mentioned the fact that you wanted me to tell you about the history, a little bit of the beginning.
Yeah, from what I understand, you've been here since the beginning of the Peace Vigil.
Actually, I guess I was sort of the instigator of this. About 10 years ago, 9 or 10 years ago, just about when the start of the war, the Iraq War, I was standing for peace down in Westport. I worked in Westport. I was closing up my business, but anyway, for about 2 years, 2.5 years, I was standing for peace. And occasionally I would have the chance to come up, because I live in Reading, to Danbury and also stand for peace with some other people I knew. One of the things that I belong to is a group called Veterans for Peace. I am a veteran, and so there was another fellow there's a chapter here, and this other fellow's name was Walter. Okay. And Walter was very active, although he was getting a little older, very active in Veterans for Peace, and had been for many, many, many years. Had a Comcast show for going on 20 years before he got too old and had to give it up. But anyway, to make a long story short, he and I sort of joined up after we stood by the library for a while, and at that particular time we were, how should I say it, baying at the moon. People would come by and curse us and give us the finger or spit at us and everything else. We had some signs. There were 3 or 4 of us that would do. There's a gentleman called Abba. I don't know whether you know Abba at all. An Indian fellow who is now quite old, but was standing out there, and a couple of young fellows were standing there. And we would do it sporadically. Well, when I retired, and this was about 8 years ago, 7 or 8 years ago now, I said, well, hey, I'm going to try to do something in Danbury. With Walter and I talked about it, and Walter, and we did it. And we started it. I think it was just at the end of January, the beginning of February, as I said, now 8 years ago. And we've been doing it ever since. And because there are few that are veterans like me. Dick is a veteran. Jim is.
Rodney
Rodney is a veteran.
Calvin.
That's right. Calvin is a veteran. So there's about 4 or 5 of us that stand here pretty regularly. But we invite anybody who wants to go for peace to stand with us. But over the years, things have quieted down. People mostly are very positive about what we're trying to say. We picked this place purposely because we felt that these people died for peace. They didn't die for war. They died for the cause of freedom in this country, and that's what we're all about. And Veterans for Peace has a whole bunch of things that they stand for. Namely is not to use war as foreign policy. And that's what we're trying to promote, is that foreign policy should be without using war as a weapon or as a as a threat and all that kind of stuff. And that's, so as I say, over the years people have gotten more accustomed. There have been ups and downs still. The police in the beginning, we had some signs saying honk for peace. The police, there's a noise ordinance in the city of Danbury.
Okay.
So we were told by the police that we could not have that sign there. So that, other than that, we've had everything has been fine with them. We've had occasionally some veterans that have objected to the fact that we're standing what they call as hallowed ground, and we tried to explain to them is that, look, we're all for this. I have a godfather, my uncle, who was killed in World War II, and I had another closest uncle who was was invalided in World War II and got dengue fever and suffered for 15 to 20 years with dengue fever after he left the jungles of the Pacific. So I know what it's all about. It's not the fact that this
it's not
is
disrespect.
It's not exactly right.
It's
not
the exact
disrespect.
opposite.
Exactly.
It's the exact opposite. We're respecting them.
That's what we're trying to do
by speaking out.
I don't know if your audience or you have heard of SOA, which is School of America, and it is a pretty terrible place. It was the American military at its worst was, we feel, down in Georgia they opened up a school, and what they were teaching was how to combat local indigenous populations all across South America. And this was done in conjunction with a lot of the terrible regimes in South America, and it exists today. And Walter went down and picketed. Every year there's usually a picket.
Are they still in
They're still in existence.
Wow.
They changed the name because it had an awful name, and they have a history of terrible, terrible stuff, killing a lot of people, part of a real terrible history. Anyway, Walter would go down and stand and picket for a week or two in front of the school in Georgia. And as I say, it still exists. And still, I send some money to try to contribute. I haven't been down, but one of these days maybe I'll get down.
Is that a Veterans for Peace initiative? Or is it just,
no, there's also other. There's actually a father, a Catholic father, Father Bourgeois. I don't know how to pronounce his name. It's a French-sounding name, who's been a spearhead of this, and he has been for many, many years, has gone to prison, and some nuns have also done it, and Veterans for Peace is one of the groups as well. But there are a whole bunch of different peace groups that are down there trying to protest this, and as well a lot of the, I would say Spanish, because of what they've done in so many of the countries of Central America and South America, killing anybody who's considered a lefty or a unionist or whatever it is under the gun because of these people. So hopefully we're doing some good, and hopefully a lot of the people who are either waving their hands or giving us the V sign or whatever it is see that we're all about peace, and it's an expression that hopefully even in Danbury, a blue-collar town that was, as I say, quite for the war in the beginning of the Iraq War, is now come around and seeing that, hey, there's a no-win situation. You don't win.
Right, it's only destruction.
That's right. It's destruction, exactly. And as the Rachel Maddow showed, it was all about oil. And so many of the people said it was about oil, and all of the correspondence and the stuff that she's uncovered and a lot of other people have uncovered show, again, it's all about oil and energy and things that we should not do.
Do you think that the rise in the green energy, renewable energy, and non-fossil fuel thing would
absolutely
sort of bring
absolutely, hopefully
bring about more peace in the world?
Absolutely. I think that anything that will take the energy and the oil off the table, so to speak, and yes, fracking is bad and what have you, and I don't agree with it. And but I think we need to explore every alternative energy there is, to try to reduce it. Wind power, solar power, turbines run by the tides, whatever it is.
Right.
We need to do that. And we need to keep experimenting and find better ways of using those things that are in this earth that are renewable. And I'd like to invite anybody who's watching the show, to please come and join us. Even if it's 10 minutes, 5 minutes, we have a bunch of signs that we bring, so you don't have to even, that you don't have to make a sign or anything, or just stand here with us. And as I said, out of the hour and a half, if you want to do it for 5 minutes or even, a half an hour, or stay with us for the whole 90 minutes, that's great. Anytime you can do it, and it's good conversation, and as I said, a very worthwhile cause. And what we need to do is to have more people, I should say, get off their duff, or I know it's a very busy world and everybody has a lot of things to do. Thank goodness I am retired, so I have more time than a lot of people do, and I know a lot of people have 2 jobs and working on Saturday mornings and everything else, but if you can spare any time to join us, please do.